So where would you say that war on terror, is it over? Is it in a kind of a phase where it's dormant? I mean, where would you say it is?
So that's a very interesting question, Surya, and it is quite obvious that the first couple of decades of the 20th century, all over the world, counter-terrorism and the war on terror, led by the Americans with their Western partners also closely involved, had risen to the top of the strategic agenda. But in the, say, as we come to the end of the first quarter of the 21st century, clearly all over the world we've seen geopolitical contestation coming back to the fore, and counter-terrorism and terrorism to that extent slipping down the ladder. But I think most experts and people who look closely at these things would agree that terrorism has certainly not gone away, and across the world, be it in, as I mentioned, be it the terrorist attack which took place in Moscow, or whether similar lone wolf attacks carried out by people who've been inspired by the Islamic State, or of course the spike in terrorism in the Afghan-Pakistan border, to which you referred to, in which the TTP has been a major player, or whether it is groups like Boko Haram, etc. in Africa, in sub-Saharan Africa, in the Sahel region. Terrorism has not really gone away, and just when you think that it is going away, there is some high-profile attack somewhere or the other. In Iran, I forgot, the Islamic State carried out an attack during the funeral of the late General Qasim Soleimani. So high-profile terrorist attacks have not gone away anywhere. They're perhaps occurring with less frequency than in the past. But I'm sure, I don't think the world can afford to take its eyes off the terrorism ball, and particularly we in India. There are just two more things that I can add in this context if you have the time. One is, of course, closer home. I would link what is happening on the Afghanistan-Pakistan border from our context, with what is happening in with developments in Bangladesh, which I think are very worrisome from our point of view. There was a time when many terrorist organizations of direct concern to us were using Bangladeshi territory systematically and in a major way. All that again had also receded into the background during the past 15 years or so, when many terrorist groups and insurgent organizations from our northeast had been put out of business and had been stopped from using Bangladeshi soil as a base for their activities. But now again we are seeing a situation where there could well be a regrouping of terrorist forces in Bangladesh, and that gives Pakistan tremendous opportunities which they might be tempted to use. That's one point. And lastly, I mean, since you were talking of the overall situation, the larger global trends, I mean, I think we've all seen the world being turned almost upside down recently. Yeah. And if you have a situation where the international order, which has been characterized by what I would call cooperation, commerce and coexistence, if that kind of a larger world sort of gives way to a world marked by conflict and confrontation, coercion and chaos, that I think gives the space where there's a kind of world where there is sort of, greater inequality, greater, say, youth joblessness among the youth, greater frustration, greater polarization. These are all fertile conditions in which terrorism grows and thrives. So you could have a situation where, geopolitical contestation and terrorism and radicalization and extremism, these two streams start converging. That certainly would be a worrisome trend from our point of view. So we have to to cut a long story short, we have to continue focusing on the terrorism ball, keep our powder dry, and strengthen our capabilities to address challenges that are of direct concern to us.
So last